Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hi guys, it's Sue from Sue Shapina Creative, and today I am introducing myself. So you finally get to put a face to the name. I'm here with Mr. Ramsey, who happens to be by Cassie Brace, and Mr. Ramsey is hanging with me while I tell my story. So we'll go ahead and we'll just let him continue to sleep. He's one tired little man. So my story is, let's go back. So last year in April 2018, I had a upper respiratory virus, and with that virus I was having trouble more and more as the weeks went on, and it got to the point where I started seeing the doctor every day, and ended up that I couldn't breathe. I was having a hard time catching my breath, and so on the 10th of April my husband took me in to the hospital. He said that was enough and took me into the hospital, and while I was in there, my oxygen level just kept on dropping, and ended up having to go on oxygen, and having my blood gas tested and to see how much oxygen was inside my body, and it was quite low. So I was diagnosed then with COPD, and had to go on oxygen therapy, which was going on an actual tank, having one set up here at home, and it was for 3 days. And all that I could do is just picture walking around with an oxygen tank attached to me. And at that moment I said I'm not going to be that person, and that was the day I quit smoking, and I haven't looked back. And from that I have gone on to going to the respiratory doctor for testing and to figure out what kind of inhalers I could use. It was determined then it wasn't only COPD but also asthma attached as well to that. My lung function was quite low. It's 66% when it started, and most people are about 95-96%, and mine was 66%. And after having the inhalers and so forth, we brought it up to about 77%. But I was having a lot of issues with the inhalers, and side effects basically from it. And from that, it felt like I was having heartburn. So what they had done was put me on some Pantaloc as well, and the Pantaloc is basically used for GERD, and I would take that twice a day as well as my inhalers, and I was having all of these side effects, and it just got worse with the Pantaloc. I got to the point where I barely could even walk. My feet hurt so bad, of all things, and my stomach hurt, my anything and everything hurt. And I had to keep going back every 6 months, or it started off first 3 months and then 6 months to the respiratory doctor. And I knew my weight was going up. I think a couple of things contributed to that, and one was the not smoking, and then the other is going through menopause. That contributed to the weight gain. I never asked the technician at all about what my weight was or where I stood with that, what my weight was. And this last time around was at the end of September, and when I had gone in, this time I did ask her what my weight was then, And she blew me away when she said 200. I freaked. That's the heaviest I've ever been in my life. Now, I understand when you go through menopause, you may gain some weight, okay? So 20 pounds I can handle, it'll come off. But having gained like 60 pounds when I'm usually about 140, having gained 60 extra pounds, I felt it. I just like, oh my God. I think I walked out of there just pretty oblivious, and when I came home, I decided I was going to look up what 200 meant, as in pounds, and what it meant to me being my size. I'm like a whole 5'1.5" maybe, 5'2", and yeah, basically I was told that I was like majorly obese, severely obese, and that is walking time bomb, or ticking time bomb as you can say, for a heart attack, cancer, diabetes. And I sat there and I dwelled in that probably for, I don't know, a good couple of weeks or so, and like saying, I've got to do something about this. Here I quit smoking to like help myself to make myself last longer, and like I'm doing these things to try to be better, and here I'm killing myself with my weight. And so it was probably, I think it was the 18th of October is when I decided, okay, well, I'm going to actually do something for me, and that is when I stepped up and I joined WW, which is Weight Watchers Freestyle. So it's only the app. I don't go to any of the meetings or anything. And put my back on my Fitbit watch and hit that treadmill, and started from there. The first weigh-in that I actually did when I started, I looked at the weight then, and it's on my phone, but it's 201, and since then I've lost about 12.5 pounds maybe, somewhere in and around there. So it's been a few weeks, and I'm quite happy with that. With that progress, I just can't wait to get right down to where I was. So doing face-to-face videos, or having videos out there with me right now, is hard because I'm very self-conscious about the way I look. And so it'll take just a bit to get over that. Obviously I need some work in a few areas. Still, it has come down quite a bit, like the extra chin there, but there's still a lot more improvement to be made. So it's just getting over myself and being comfortable. I do want to get to that point where I'm doing a lot of live streaming, and I think that would just make it a lot easier, because not really quick on getting up the videos or putting up the videos. So live streaming would be a lot better. Yeah, so that's that. That's the story of me. How did I get into reborning? Okay, so it's about, I think in and around July of last year, I was going through Facebook on my iPad, and I'd come across in the marketplace there, I'd come across some lady who was selling her Reborn. And at the first glance there, I thought, oh my God, this is like, this lady is selling her child. And it was really something, like, threw me for a loop. And then I discovered it was a Reborn doll. I have never ever seen them prior to that. Didn't know anything about them prior to that. And that's the moment where it's like, I'm on the computer Googling finding out anything and everything all about these reborn dolls, and seeing a bunch of people were selling them on Etsy and so forth. And I noticed that there's different levels of pricing and so forth. And at first I thought, well, you know what, maybe I'll buy myself one, but none of them really appealed to me. And the ones that did appeal, they were right up there in the price. So I thought, okay, the next step here would be to actually research how to actually reborn, you know, reborn a vinyl kit or reborn a doll. And so I went into that, and from there I bought my first kit, which was through, excuse me, through Bountiful Baby. Hang on 2 secs. You have your choice here. Lime water. But I have also my go-to, which is coffee. So the first kit that I got was through Bountiful Baby, and it was baby Priscilla, if I'm not mistaken. And I had so much fun reborning her, and it was that moment that it was just bringing her to life, going through all of the different steps. At that moment I knew I loved doing this, and this is for me, this is what I want to do. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And I haven't looked back. I'm not going to look back because I love doing it. They say that, I've heard that people say that if you find something you truly love to do, then you'll never work again a day in your life. And that's the way I look at it when it comes along to the reborns. I mean, it's everything to bring them to life, and it's everything to hold back from, like not wanting to let them go. I've been truly blessed with some great customers from Canada, the US, to Portugal, to Australia, to New Zealand. Customers all over the place that have purchased. I've had return customers. Jen in Ontario, she's bought a couple. The second one that she had bought was Levi, and I didn't even get him my shop closed down after posting him, and he was sold already with her to her. And I've had customers, Tanya from BC, who's been sending me pictures, and another lady, Amy, who's been sending me pictures from BC as well of their babies. And Tanya has told me about how her little one is being used for therapy, and it's truly amazing. I feel totally blessed to have been able to create these pieces of art for these ladies, and for them to be really excited about them as well. It's just very humbling to me. I continue to make babies. The last one that I have made was Ruby, and she's by Cassie Brace. And Miss Ruby, it's funny because normally when I look at the new kits that are coming out, or the kits that are out, I try to find a connection with them. Like, I try to build them up in my head on how they're going to look before I actually even purchase them. And Ruby, I just thought, oh, I'm just going to purchase her and do whatever. And as I'm working through her, she's just falling into place exactly, the way I wanted her, and so forth. And in the end, I couldn't give her up. So Miss Ruby has become my branding baby, and also the baby that I'll be using for a lot of photos. Here's some background of my little, what do you want to call it, shell, blow my shell sort of thing. And but yeah, so I love her to pieces. Cassie is coming out with another one, Alexis, and it should be out for taking deposits in the beginning of December. Alexis I will get as well. I think that Alexis potentially could be Ruby's twin, or something twin. I'm sure a twin. And I don't know if I'll be able to let go of that one either. I also have Lulu coming, and that will be, we're not sure yet when Lulu's coming. Excuse me. It's been a long day already. And so yeah, and continue watching, and each and every single baby that I do, I try to challenge myself that much more to try to even make it more realistic than the last one. And I think maybe that's the reason why I'm finding it harder and harder to let them go, to new mommies. But even though it's hard to let them go, I'm so glad, and that they're going to somebody who is going to love them, and I know will love them. And so that's that. That's how I got into the reborning. I've had questions about pricing already, how I get to my pricing. I guess I can leave that for another video, how I come up with that. But the bottom line here is, it's just because the cost of actually making one or reborning a doll is in the end quite expensive, for one thing, between time, materials, and so forth. And there are people out there who, I know I've only actually had one lady that actually made a comment and said, I would never spend that much on a reborn. And I had just told her, and that's entirely up to you on how much you're willing to spend, but the bottom line here is, in the end, you get what you do pay for. And unfortunately right now there are a lot of scams going on out there, in the reborn community. It's sad to see. A lot of people are being taken advantage of. So yeah, but I think I'll leave that one for another video. In the meantime, I've got my little buddy here, and Ramsey is still up for adoption. He was reborn in the summer months because I think he's posted with some summer photos. But he's been hanging with me. He says, it's okay, I'll hang with you until, it's my time to go. So he's okay with that. But Ramsey, he is just under 700 Canadian. Shipping would be extra as well. And remember, it's Canadian, guys. It's not US dollars. It's Canadian dollars. So in the US, that makes it probably around between $5.25, $5.50, maybe, somewhere around there. I know that on the flip side, it costs a lot more for Canadians to purchase US, so it's really a lot cheaper for you guys. And Ramsey, or any of my babies, they do go home with the outfit that they're wearing. They go home with extra diapers, a couple extra outfits, a blanket, their passy, the COA, their own birth certificate from me, a care sheet, and lots of loves pushed in that box as well before they're on their way to their new home. So yeah, if you're interested at all in Ramsey, you can go ahead and find them on my store, which is shopsoothes.creative.com. If you do see Ramsey on, or if you are interested on Ramsey and you're interested from here because of seeing the video, send me a message on Instagram or send me an email. My email address will be below, I think, or under the About section. You can get my email address from there. And you can just say that you've seen Ramsey on my video and you were interested in purchasing. If you do that, then I will remove or take off $50 off of Ramsey's price for you. So that basically depends where you are. It might be free shipping, in other words. So, but here is the little guy. I'm just going to show you. Oh, my little Ramsey bud. Yeah, he's such a cutie patootie. His hair is just beautiful. He's got gorgeous, gorgeous hair. He's got some drool happening underneath his mouth. Yes. He's over 5 pounds. Just like all my babies, their heads have to be supported because they're just like a newborn. They flop. They are weighted, and they're weighted with glass beads. All my babies are weighted with glass beads and polyfill. And they're rooted with the best mohair that I can find. And he was rooted with Slumberland mohair from Slumberland Nursery, which is down east in Canada here. I'm in Western Canada. I'm in Alberta. And he was rooted with Slumberland, which is which you have to pay for in US dollars. And I have moved on now to Delta Dawn's hair. Her hair is more straighter than, I know Slumberland had run out of her straight stuff. So Delta Dawn's hair is more straighter, and that's one that I've been using now, which is also out of the US funds, so it's quite expensive. But anyways, yeah, so if you're interested in all in this hunk of little man, you can go ahead and send me a message, or actually you can even comment below that you're interested, and then we can get in touch from there. And that's about it for now. Other than that, I'm glad you guys can finally put a face to the name. And I look forward to doing several more videos, hoping to get onto the live streaming to make it easier. In between time, for any videos, if you want any kind of videos in specific, if you have questions for me, if you want me to do a certain kind of video, anything like that, or if you want me to, I don't know, whatever, right? Just go ahead and leave a comment below and we'll work on that. We'll get that done for you. And otherwise, first of all, if you're hearing any kind of squeaky noise, it's because I'm sitting on a yoga ball. I just want to make that clear. I'm not tooting. And it's only just because, excuse me, I sit on that when I do my photography. But other than that, I do want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't yet, you can go ahead and do so just by hitting that subscribe button there down below, and go ahead and like the video. You can follow me on Instagram at sue.shapinya.creative. Facebook, it's Sue Shapinya Creative, and my store is Shop Sue Shapinya Creative, just in case you want to check out what's over there, and so forth. And until we see you guys again, first of all, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad that I finally balled up that courage. And I'm glad that you're going to continue on with me on my journey as I pull off those pounds and show more of my reborning to you, my little squishies. So until I do talk to you guys again, until the next video, I want you to have a super duper great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Every single day